This is Unit 5 of my Introduction to Marketing full semester curriculum, and this particular unit is all about marketing strategy and campaign planning. The essential question is this: how do businesses create coordinated marketing campaigns that successfully attract, engage, and persuade customers? The objective, this is what I want my students to be able to know by the end of this unit, is as follows. Develop a strategic marketing campaign by organizing branding, customer targeting, platform selection, promotional messaging, and campaign goals into a coordinated plan designed to influence customer action. This is a teacher guide that you will have access to if you're somebody that is purchasing this information. It'll kind of give you the play by play. Typically, this unit will take me about 7 full days, including some work time. Could even take 8 days. So do plan accordingly. Also worth noting, you do want to also have digital access for your students and then print out the worksheets before getting going on this. Here we go. Why did Spotify Wrapped feel like it was everywhere? I don't know about you, but at my school specifically, come January, when everybody's getting their Spotify Wrapped, this is where Spotify, the music platform, shares what were the most commonly listened to songs and albums and listen time and all the other things that Spotify calculates and includes within its algorithm are released, and many people will start sharing this to their stories, and you'll hear about it on the news, and you'll hear about it all over the place. So why did it feel like it was everywhere when it was really just on the mobile app? Well, millions of people are reposting it. It appeared so many different ways on so many different platforms. They voluntarily are advertising for Spotify. How did they make people feel excited to share? It was almost like FOMO if you didn't share what it was that you listened to throughout the year. And was it just a trend or was it something more? Will it continue to gain steam in the following year? Stay tuned. This is where we start talking about the idea of campaign touch points. This is any place that a customer sees, hears, or interacts with your marketing message. And so, with these marketing messages, we're talking about strategy as well as a campaign. And so, the strategy is effectively it's the plan. It's the plan that businesses use to reach, engage, and persuade a target audience. But the campaign is the execution. It's how you do the plan. And so, this is the coordinated touch point advertisements and promotions used to achieve that marketing goal that you created with your strategy. And so, if I was going to put this in pictorial form, the strategy, this is the plan, the goals, the audience, the platform, the messaging, and the timing versus the campaign. This is the execution. This is the actual doing of how we complete that strategy. And we do this with promotions, advertisements, posts, videos, launches, content. Can a campaign succeed without a strategy? It might, but more than likely, you need to have some planning that goes into the backbone of making sure that you're going to have a successful campaign. I have my students think about this weird collaboration that has no business being part of one another, but we've got Crocs and a luxury fashion brand. Who are they for? So I have them start thinking about, well, who are Crocs targeting? Who is their target market? And who is the target market for luxury fashion? How are they similar? How are they different? How would the strategy change for each? And all of this is anticipatory because the next slide is an example strategy where Crocs decided that they wanted to reach a luxury professional in the luxury market. And so here's how Crocs might adjust their strategy to attract luxury professionals. And this is kind of an example slide. We say that first we want to identify who is that target customer. Well, high income, they're interested in value and quality as well as status. Brand positioning, this is it's got to feel premium, elevated, it's got to be effortless, it's got to be something top tier. The key message is comfort that moves success. The platform, where will we reach them? More than likely, this isn't going to be on the same platforms that you reach your Crocs standard customer with. Maybe it's going to be on LinkedIn. Perhaps it's luxury publications or some other type of platform where they will reach people of their target market. Who would they partner with? Maybe these are luxury influencers or apparel brands. And what is the goal with this campaign? So, what do we actually want to achieve? An elevated design, premium material, it's made for professionals, and success in every step is what we would ultimately look at as a campaign direction as an example. Now that we have the general idea as to what does the planning look like before we create the campaign, now we do a class strategy challenge, and I give them Stanley, the big, water bottle thermos things here. Students are going to find a new target market for Stanley cups, and we're going to do this in a jigsaw format. So For this particular one, we are choosing senior citizens 65 plus. The challenge is this: we need to create a complete strategy for Stanley to attract senior citizens 65 plus. So as a class, first what we need to do is figure out who's the target customer, 65 years old. In my class, I'm probably going to write down exactly who it is that fits within this demographic beyond just 65 years old, but who would use a Stanley. From there, then I'm going to take my groups. Let's say I have 6 table groupings here, then I would give each one of these groups a different one of these item numbers so that they could go through and identify what their particular item is off of this strategy challenge. So again, as a class as a whole, we're going to do number 1, who is our target customer, who are we trying to attract, and then 2 through 7 I'm going to break up and give each individual group. We'll give them maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes, 7 minutes to figure out, brand positioning. How should the brand feel? What should the messaging say? Where are we going to reach this audience? And be detailed about it. Don't just say Facebook. Well, Facebook, but how are you going to go to specific groups? What are you going to do? Who can you help use? Who can you use to help build trust? And then campaign goals. What results do we want as a result of this strategy? And then the campaign idea. This could actually be its own unit at the very end, and maybe not even assign this to an individual group. Instead, at the very end, we take all of our information and then we come up with a campaign idea so that students see what the idea looks like, from identifying our target market, coming up with a strategy, and then making a campaign and how we will reach these people. So I don't give this too long. This is like a 5 to 7 minutes as a group, and then we come together as a class, and then this is total 10 minutes. Now that we've identified all of that, I then give students a worksheet planner for strategy on one side, and then on the back side of it, you'll see that there's also going to be campaign information. And so with this document, that's also shared within the resource hub for the Teachers Pay Teachers item, and it's also linked in here in the notes of the Canva note section here. Students receive access to this strategy planner, and they have to do this for their business that they are pursuing for the year. Now, my students in my full semester class, and if you're following the full semester curriculum, you would do this for the business that they're pursuing for the entire semester. If you're doing this as a one-off unit and you just happen to find my content, 1, thank you, appreciate you. But 2, have them pick any business of their choosing and then revitalize that business and say, here's a new target customer of someone that we are trying to attract. And then we go through the same motions that we did as a class. It's kind of the classic GRR strategy, gradual release of responsibility, where, I demonstrate it for you, then we do it as a whole, then I give it to you to do as a small group, and then you eventually do it individually. That's a different discussion, though. So then they go through this campaign strategy planner. They identify their target customer, what is their brand positioning, their messaging, the platforms, the partnerships, the campaign goals, and then come up with a final campaign idea by the end. Now that we've got this strategy, we need to start talking about, well, what does a campaign look like? Marketing is all around us. Besides social media, where are you exposed to marketing? And students will say all kinds of things. For example, in my class, I've got all these college pennants all over the place. That's marketing right there. It could be the student walking around with a pin on their croc, right? And one of those croc charms. It could be a pin on their backpack. It could just be the clothing that they're wearing, right? Like I'm advertising Nike as we speak right here in this video. It's everywhere. It's on billboards. It's in emails. It's on social media. It's on the side of a truck. You name it. So from strategy is that's the plan. The campaign is what we're going to do with the plan. It's actually exercising it. So from the strategy, we now need to create a campaign, and the strategy guides every one of those campaign decisions. So how are we going to get the word out about whatever the business is that we're pursuing? We have one strategy, a lot of different touch points, and one consistent campaign. What makes a campaign feel coordinated? Well, I let my students really kind of think about this. I'll maybe give them like a minute. In fact, I'm not above throwing candy at people for this here. I'll say something like, for example, similar colors across all platforms, right? So down here you can see it's the same message, same visual, same audience, multiple platforms, repetition with the clear goal and consistent branding and a call to action. This is asking for the sale. From here, we start talking about how would you get the word out for your business. I want you to start brainstorming as many ideas as you can, thinking creatively. And if social media were to disappear tomorrow, how else could a company get the word out about their new campaign? So Legacy Coffee is what we're working with. For an example here, it's a local independent coffee shop. Their goal is to attract more young professionals, 22 to 35 years old, who work nearby. What would they be able to do to get more people in their door? With that information, they now need to start thinking about turning a strategy into a campaign. That campaign brings their ideas and their strategy to life across every single one of the touch points. One idea, many touch points. Now it's their turn to fill out the backside of the worksheet to create the campaign that accompanies the strategy that they worked on before. I give them some ideas about different campaign touch points. For example, some they might not think of: billboards, email, websites, podcasts, local media, direct mail, radio, influencers, partnerships, sponsorships, events. These could be things like ribbon cuttings or Chamber of Commerce mixers or flyers and posters, and you name it. The list goes on. There's one message, but it falls within many different places. I then shift my students' attention over to this. Why is the billboard effective? They know immediately with just looking at a color. It's a color. They know exactly what business this is, what makes it so persuasive to get you to acknowledge its existence, which gets us talking about billboards and what makes an effective billboard. It's usually going to be brief. We talk about how you only have a couple seconds to see this, so you don't have minutes to read a full paragraph or a lot of text. It should be an image, minimal wording, and then some type of call to action. For example, down here in the stronger ones, you see join today or shop now, or maybe even a QR code or something like that. Keep it simple, make it memorable, make it for you. I then have them work on Canva to do a design challenge for a billboard of their own for the business that they're continuing to pursue. Put all the criteria right here. Again, they're using that full semester project, or if you're just picking this unit up individually, then I would use that business you used earlier for your campaign strategy planner. With this information in hand, I use Canva's billboard maker templates and encourage my students to do that. They've already created logos in earlier units. If your students haven't, have them make one on Canva Logo Maker, or if your school uses AI, you could also use AI to create a logo right there on the fly. With the logo, now create a billboard using Canva's Billboard Maker, and you're good to go. We then do a billboard gallery walk. And so what I do, because these are almost always digital, I'll have my students set up their computers in like a circle that's facing outward so that students can walk by and look at all the different billboards in a big circle. So they just do a circle, they view multiple different billboards, we discuss what works well, and then I have my students actually vote. I have them vote on which one was the best overall, most creative, and best target customer match. And this incentivizes students to want to do really well on it. And I do tell them while I'm bringing up the design challenge parameters exactly what's expected and what's coming next, because if you don't tell them that other students are going to see it, they're just going to get by and do the bare minimum. Obviously not all of them, but some of them. And if you're a teacher out there, you know what I'm talking about. So what's next? We talked about billboards. Not every campaign touchpoint works the exact same way. Now that we have the billboard and we've gotten their attention, maybe that customer went to our website, maybe they went to our social media, they've built some interest. Now they sign up for our email platform. The email's intention is to build interest and drive action. It's the same campaign, but a different touch point. And now we use the Canva's template for emails that you can use for marketing too. Why do businesses send marketing emails? Well, it's to gain interest, action, stay relevant, events, engagement, and all the other things. What makes you open an email? I'll tell you right now, the only emails that I really open that are marketing are those that are in alignment with my interests. And there's some that I admit they've been sitting in my inbox. Like I've got emails that'll come in kind of my spam email address, if you will, where I just haven't had the time to hit unsubscribe. Maybe it's a little bit lazy, but I haven't opened one of their emails in years. Maybe it's something I signed up for a long time ago versus Costco. I open it pretty frequently. So what makes a marketing email effective? It's not going to be big, bulky text and paragraphs. It's imagery. It's brief. It's minimalistic. This is the same idea that we used on that billboard campaign. And again, this is where I have them do an email design challenge. I actually have my students email me their marketing proposal of an email in using Canva's business email template. Same campaign, different touch point. The task for them, they need to promote an event or an offer, and then they need to match the campaign visuals with a call to action. And the big takeaway is it's an event. So, it doesn't matter what the business is. If you're a plumbing company, maybe you have a ribbon cutting because you're brand new, or maybe you're in your 10th year of business, or if you're a concert, obviously that's easy to do an event email for. I show them what the requirements are. It should have a strong subject line, campaign visuals, a clear call to action button, an event, brand consistency, and easy to scan quickly. If I have to read this for too long, you've done too much. Remember, it should match your billboard, your campaign strategy, and your target customer. All of this gets taken care of. They email this over to me with the event. It should have a catchy subject line, the details, the visuals, that call to action button, and matching branding across all platforms. So they've emailed the clients about the event. Well, what's next? Now they got to plan the event. So which business fits this event? For example, a community 5K sponsorship might work well for like an athletic shoe company or a local gym or something like that. A charity dinner and auction, perhaps you're like a local bank and you've got money that you want to spend to send some of your clients to as well as some of your employees to and make donations and purchase stuff at an auction. Or maybe you own a mobile video game truck of some sort and you wanted to set up a gaming tournament at the local high school and you talked to the principal and they gave you the green light. Which types of businesses would be good at either hosting the event or sponsoring the event and having a booth there or some type of an environment like that? And it doesn't have to be limited to what I just said. It could be a ribbon cutting, a race sponsorship, a festival booth. It could be a trade show, a youth sports sponsor. It could be the farmer's market, a charity event, a product launch, a networking dinner, you name it. The sky's the limit. There's a ton of different types of events out there. Now we need to create an event, and we're going to do it as a class using that same gradual release of responsibility where students are working as a class to open up a new teen center. And we're doing this with a ribbon cutting. This is one of those like things where you have the comically large set of scissors that we cut the ribbon with, and it's the grand opening. We need to plan an amazing ribbon cutting event. As a class, we plan it together. Everyone has the same information about our target audience. Each group is an expert on one part of the plan. We'll share our ideas and we'll bring it all together. And so each group of these, if I have 8 different groups, has to oversee specific realms of the challenge. And so if I label group 1 over here, they're my welcome ceremony people. I've got group 2, they're my food and beverages, and everybody has a different task, and then we all come together and share it out at the end. And I give them this resource here. So it's an overhead event layout so they could see what it looks like. I tell them how many people will be attending, what is their budget based on their criteria that they received below, who is their audience, which is the teenagers. It's on a Friday, 5 to 8 p.m. And then activity guidance for groups 4 and 5, because I want them to have a little bit of an idea as to what I'm expecting on that. So it could be like a gaming competition or a photo booth or a live DJ, something like that, but they have to plan it out and be more creative with it. Those are probably the 2 hardest. That's why they got a little bit more direction. I show them the overhead aerial view so they know exactly what we're working with. Now it's your turn as a class. After we've come together and we've done this, now we use the second set of worksheet. And the second worksheet is the event plan as well as the event layout that you'll do from an overhead aerial view. You complete your plan, you design your space, you got to think like a pro. Like I said, this is at least 7 days worth of work. Arguably, this is realistically probably 2 full weeks, 2 5-day weeks in any given moment. So plan your event, design your space, stay consistent, be ready to share. Work time is where we go from here. And that concludes my presentation on Unit 5 for my Intro to Marketing class. Thanks for teaching what I believe to be the most valuable classes on campus.